Hi again then folks, and welcome to the next stage of the DeAgostini GT40 build. Part 8, of course. I'm trying out a different camera angle this time. Instead of the head cam, more of a body cam style. So let me know which one you prefer moving forward. Then this is the particular part in number 8. A cover for the seat, which makes a lot of sense because I said before that the seat looked very Lego-ish and kind of uncomfortable. So this is part of the seat to kind of make that look a little bit more realistic. So that is there. We have, of course, our screwdriver, as always, and also the section of the seat that we had last time, which is here, which was a relatively simple piece, but the two screws were still a bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, there you go. So we'll put that piece to one side. We shall open this one up before moving forward and do our little time jump until then. So here we are with the removed piece, a much more conventional looking seat. And we'll place that onto one side for a second and go to the step-by-step stage in the book, which is, of course, the driver's seat trim, as you can see here. Now, I'm not sure if we're actually going to need the screwdriver or not for this one, but we have the driver's seat trim, of course that's here. Step 8 is to retrieve the driver's seat from step 7, which of course is this one, and fit it into the rear of the driver's seat trim. So that would logically be, I believe this, yeah, from the looks of things, if we try and line it up with the photo, I think that's the correct way. So that way, yeah, it is indeed. So if we get that on there, what kind of lining up points do we have? And of course all of our little Lego looking pieces are through the seat or the chair, depending on what you want to call it. Okie dokie. So step 2, press the trim into place, making sure it's flush, stage complete. So very simple one, as you'd expect on that one. And now, of course, with that complete, we'll set it to one side and move on to step number 9. So step number 9 is, of course, the return of putting a seat together, just like step number 7 by the looks of things. So we will flick through to the back to the tutorial section once again, and yeah, it looks virtually identical to me to the other one. So we'll get this out of the packaging, time warp forward as usual, and begin working on it. So inside this particular piece we have the two parts of the chair once again, and a couple of little screws, basically identical to last time from the look of things. Put those down. So step number 1. Insert the posts on the underside of the co-driver's seat, which is 9B, that's this one, into the corresponding holes in the driver's seat. So that would be there, I believe. Yep, that would indeed be it. Lined up there quite nicely. Step number 2, interlock both pieces. Yep, it's kind of obvious. And then step 3, turn the seat assembly over and secure the two pieces together with the screws. So let's get these screws out. So skipping forward past much frustration later on, we have our chair put together, much like the last one, and now with the stage complete, we can move on to our next one. So next up then, for part 10, we have, to the surprise of no one, the next part of the driver's seat. I've already disassembled most of it from the packaging, as you can tell. So much like the last one, we don't really need the instructions for it at this point, but let's run through it anyway. We of course have our seat piece here. We have the piece that we just made. That's the right orientation for it. And then if we grab this seat piece, going on top like so, then we can repeat, I believe that's the right way. Yes, it is. We can repeat our, is that correct? Yes, that is the correct way. We can repeat our process of putting these together. And with that, our seat piece is locked in. Make sure it's flush around the edge, which it is. And then stage complete. So now we have a pair of seats, of course. We have the other one already, and now this one as well. So now, let's move on to the next one. Now then, for number 11, we have these pieces here. What looks to be putting the other seat pieces together, I would say. So let's flip to the back, to the tutorial section. And yes, that is seat related. So let's get this one out of its packaging. So with our pieces here, we have a couple of panels which appear to be to connect the seats together possibly, but we'll have to wait and see. And then we have our screws here. So step 11, retrieve the driver and co-driver seats. Okay, let's do that. So here are our two seats which we've already put together. Okay, let's set those to one side for now. And then for step 2, combine the central seat panel to the upper panel as shown. So let's try and orient them as they are in the picture. That would look that way, I believe. And then that looks to be that way, possibly. So that should slot into here, by the looks of things. Is that correct? That doesn't seem to be correct. So it would appear that that is how it's supposed to be, based on the picture. But that seems kind of loose. So it doesn't seem to snap in there. But I guess that's what the screw's going to be for, to hold that together. So then our next step is turn the assembly over and secure the two parts together with an FP03. So we'll have to leave those kind of unconnected for now. Get one of our FP03s. I feel like that could get a little bit tighter. And it's almost impossible to tighten these screws without stripping them. Again, not exactly the best way that they could have done it, I don't think. But that'll do for now for putting those two together. Then move those screws out of the way and we can turn our page. Step 4. Insert the posts on the inside of the driver's seat to the corresponding holes on the central seat panel. So the driver's seat looks to me to be this one with this extra piece on the side. Turn the assembly over and fit the two parts together using two FP03 screws. So I had to step away for a little bit and come back and continue this one, but I've now changed, as you can see, the camera angle back as well. But we were on, step 4 and 5 to attach this central piece to the driver's side chair. That is now done. That's attached with those screws. What I would recommend doing when you're working on these ones, if you're finding it a bit difficult to get it in, because these are a major pain in the backside doing these screws, is to use the actual screwdriver itself, if necessary, to kind of bore out the screw holes just a little bit to make it that much easier for yourself to actually bed the screw in there. Obviously don't take it too far, but giving it that little bit of a rough edge to grab onto, I find it helps a little bit. So that's just a tip from me. So that is now done. And then if we move on to the next section, that is step 5, turn the assembly over, fit the two screws. We've done that. Step 6, insert the posts of the co-driver's seat. So now we have this other side, of course, into the holes in the central panel. So basically repeat the same thing by the look of things. Turn the assembly over and secure with 2 more FP02 screws. So, of course, I will skip forward through the screwing in process until that's done. So, now that that one is done, that one is once again screwed in, and we've got our seats all together now. And now, if we skip to step 7, turn it over, secure. Then step 8, we have return, or recover even, the inner central column, which we have here. Of course, that was from one of the previous ones that we set to one side. Position it between the two seats in the central panel, which of course is this section here. Press gently until it fits snugly between the two seats. So if we grab that one, and it would appear to me that that would be the orientation. So this knurled piece would be more at the top, and this open section looks to me to be more at the bottom, which would line up in that kind of angle. And as you can tell, I'm doing it with one hand at the moment instead of using it as a head cam, just to make it a bit steadier. that seems to me to be snapped in place. And the seat is beginning to take form. And according to that, we are now stage complete. This is how the driver's seat assembly should look. So if we put that there, double check. Yep, that looks correct to me. Looks properly clipped in. And that is that. So that is that step complete. We now have the majority of the seat to complete, and we shall move on to step 12. And so, step 12 is on the table. For step 12, we have the beginnings of our second door. This again will be familiar, of course, we've done this before. And for this section, it looks like just this small piece is going on the door with no actual inner door, so I'm assuming they're probably going to bring that inner door in fairly soon. So first of all, let's turn to the actual tutorial stage with our screwdriver ever present, of course. We have the co-driver door, the exterior lamp, and some screws. So we shall now unpackage that and get on with it. Now then, we have retrieved all of the parts. We have the main door itself, the metal piece, the exterior light, and a couple of small screws. So now, of course, it will be familiar to those who followed the process, but let's go to step 1. Place the exterior door lamp over the corresponding hole in the co-driver door. Note the small notch, meaning the lamp can only fit in one position. Okay, so if we bring that one over and we can place this small lamp here into the door, and that looks like so when you've got it placed in, of course. And then the next step is turn over the co-driver door while holding the lamp in place. Secure the lamp from the inside of the door using a screw. So there we go with the light. We have, as instructed, screwed that one in on the back here. If the camera will focus on that one. And then you can see the light from the front. So we'll set that to one side. We have one screw, which I'm assuming is a spare. I don't actually recall. So step 2, turn the driver over, secure it with the screw, and then stage complete. So yeah, that one is complete. And as we did with the last door, which I shall retrieve over here. Here, of course, was the door that we've already pretty much completed with the window put in, the working handle, and of course the interior of the door as well, and the hinge. So that's what we'll end up with, of course, and that's what we'll currently have. So doubtless these parts will arrive in probably next month or maybe the month after's shipment of bits. But overall, that is it for this particular part of the build, and of course I will see you again next time with more.